Hello, hybrid Art History 111 students. This is a short video to welcome you to the class and let you know what you should do to get started. So this is a hybrid class. It's possible some of you haven't taken one of those before. So just to explain a little, that basically means that it's half online and half in person. We'll meet in person once per week and have discussions and hands-on activities and really make the most of our time together in person. And then most of the kind of like reading and watching videos and taking quizzes and the kind of like lecture type part of the learning in this class you'll do on your own at home by using the online course that I've set up. So all of the things that are just about you absorbing information you do at home, and then when you come into class, it'll be more about interactive kind of discussion and activity. It's a little unusual at first if you've never taken this type of class before, but trust me, it's a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good way, I think, to structure a class and make the most out of the time that we have. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. So I'll be your instructor. My name is Kara Smulovitz. I've sent you an email, so you can reply to the email if you have any questions for me, and you can also see the spelling of my name. I'm happy with students just calling me my first name, though, so feel free to refer to me just as Kara if you're okay with that. All right, so we're going to be meeting in person once per week on Wednesdays, but this class is going to act more like a Monday-Wednesday class in the sense that you'll be doing a good portion of the work before we meet. So on Monday or whenever works for your schedule, you'll be doing reading, watching videos, reviewing a study guide, and then taking a quiz. Sometimes doing an assignment as well, and you'll be doing that all online at your own pace. You do that before we meet each week. And then when we meet on Wednesday, you've already got a really good handle on the material, and then we can use the class time to really build on that and deepen our ideas about it and discuss it and do fun activities and all of that good stuff. So we're going to meet on Wednesday, but before we meet, I have a few things for you to do on the Canvas class. Oh, one note about Canvas, I've also sent out a video in this email I sent you that gives you instructions for how to log on. So if you've never used Canvas before, just watch that other video. It'll show you how to make an account, and then you'll be automatically able to access this class as soon as you've made your account since you're enrolled. I think Monday, yeah, so the first day of the semester, which will be Monday, is when you'll be able to access this course. They make it automatically available on Monday. Okay, so anyway, what you should do before we meet on Wednesday is browse through the online course site on Canvas. So look at the syllabus, look at all of the info that's there, make a list of any questions you have, and make an actual list, like write it down, and that way when we meet on Wednesday, you can remember what your questions are and ask me. People always think they'll remember their questions and they just keep a list in their head, but then the first day of class goes fast and it can be like a little overwhelming, and then people forget what they wanted to ask. So definitely write it down so that that doesn't happen. Okay, so that's the first thing. The other thing that you'll do before we meet Wednesday is a little introduction assignment, and that's something you'll do online. Basically, you're going to get a photo of yourself, or if you'd rather, just a photo of something that represents you. Don't think too hard about it. Just pick a photo that you like and upload the photo onto Canvas. There's a discussion area, there's instructions there, and you'll see how to do it. So you'll share your photo, then you'll tell me and your classmates a little bit about yourself by describing the photo. And then you'll actually do this little experiment where you treat the photograph as though it's an artwork in a museum. So imagine you go to a museum, you look at a painting, and you describe the balance of the painting, the colors, the lines, kind of all of the different visual things going on in the painting to make it interesting. You do that, but with your photograph that you uploaded. So you're basically practicing your ability to make visual analyses of artwork, so to visually describe an artwork, but you're practicing it on your own photograph. Let me give you a quick example using one of my photographs. So I'm going to hide myself in the corner here. This is a photo of me and my husband in Athens. We were on vacation. I think this was maybe 3 years ago now. I guess it's getting kind of old. But anyway, I love this photo of us. It's one of my favorites. I like it in part because look at the look on his face. He's in mid-cheers, I think, but he just looks so happy, and I think it's just such a nice way to capture who he is. He's a really positive, happy person. And then, you know, I'm here eating olives, which were so delicious in Greece, drinking wine, which was also very delicious. You can see I fully cleaned my plate. There was really good food. This was a great time. It was a trip that both of us really enjoyed. We went with another couple that we're friends with. I got to look at lots of art in ancient Greece. It was overall really great. And, because I'm a teacher and I usually have summers off, which is so lucky, I'm able to do these kind of trips and go see the art that I teach about all year in person in the summer. Okay, so that was me just telling you a little bit about myself and my family. And, I didn't give you a ton of information, but a little bit. So that's what y'all will do too. And then what you do is the part where you treat the photograph as though it's an artwork you're describing. So if you think, for example, about composition, composition means how an image is laid out. So how an artwork is balanced, what the different parts of it are doing visually. Look at how this one is kind of divided in two. I mean, there's Chris's section, that's my husband's name, and then there's my section. But it's not just that it's two people. Look behind us. You see that tree? It's kind of a dividing line because it's this dark leafy area behind my head, and then the umbrella, which kind of extends that. And then past the tree here, it's all nice and light pretty much, except for this little tree behind Chris's head, but mostly it's this light open area. So if you look at that as kind of a division, it's not halfway in the picture, it's maybe 2/3, but this is a sort of lighter part of the picture, and this is a heavier part of the picture. That's not just because of the background. Do you see how, because I'm wearing black, and because my arm is down here, and you can see my elbow against the table, it gives this a heavier, more kind of solid feel. Whereas here, his elbow's against the table too, but we can't see that because of this bread basket. And his wine glass is lifted higher than my wine glass. So this gives this section a more kind of upward direction. So my section is more heavy and grounded. His section is lighter and a little more upward. Then if you look in front of us, he's got this plate in his section that goes almost all the way to the front of the image, whereas I have a more empty area since this glass is see-through. That creates some space to kind of balance the heaviness of how I look here. And here, the heaviness of this balances the lightness of how he looks here. So I could do this all day, but you see how I've started to really break this up into what's happening visually. And that's what you do when you're visually analyzing an artwork. You really look at all the choices the artist made and what those do in terms of the balance of the picture. So we're going to do a ton of that in class, but you'll just practice with your snapshot. You can pretty much write a paragraph for that. It doesn't have to be too extensive. And then I'll use a couple of your photos in class on our first day so we can all kind of practice it together. So there are written out instructions for this assignment online, so don't worry about getting it all right now, but this is just the basics. So you'll include a photograph that represents you. Doesn't actually have to include an image of you if you don't want it. And then you'll practice visual analysis by describing the photo as if it's an artwork, mention balance, composition, color. Also tell us a little bit about yourself, why that image represents you. Again, this is all written out in the Canvas class, so you'll have it right in front of you when it's time for you to make the actual discussion post. And you're going to do that before we meet on Wednesday. So go to the Canvas site, get started with this class with the introduction assignment. And when we see each other on Wednesday, we'll talk about it more. Welcome to class. I'm excited to actually meet you in person soon.